So another question that all candidates should be prepared for, because it's kind of a classic outside "Tell me about yourself," is what are your strengths and weaknesses? And, everybody, I think, is pretty good about their strengths, and they kind of hem-haw around their weakness. And let's be real, we all have weaknesses and gaps and areas to improve upon.
A example in the IT space where I've spent a lot of my career in this business. Let's say you say one of your weaknesses is Excel proficiency. And you're acknowledging that as a weakness, and it's something that's, maybe an intermediate skill for the job that they're interviewing for. They don't have to be an expert, but you've got to be proficient. So maybe I'm not quite there yet, but I'm interviewing for this job that requires it. I would say my weakness is Excel, whatever that is, but I'm actively enrolled in a class, or I'm taking a course to turn my weakness into a strength. So then it shows that kind of proactive thinking and approach to being better than yesterday, investing in your own skills, knowledge, learning, whatever it is, technical proficiencies. So I always advise candidates to acknowledge the weakness, but then share what are they doing to turn that into a strength, actually. And it shows that growth and intent.
How about strengths?
I mean, I think this one, you want to be, again, conscious of what you're good at. So if the job, but also you want to make it relevant to the job, right?
Right.
So if it's a manager job, you want to go into it and say, hey, I'm really good at team management, at communicating with others, being able to talk, from high level executives down to
Developing people,
yeah, and everything like that.
Yeah. Strength should be easy for most people. If they're not for you, maybe you don't have some great strengths and want to think about that. But strengths should be, easily articulated, I think, in most cases. But, you don't want to come off as cocky. You want to say, I'm good at these things and here are where my strengths lies. But,
well, maybe thinking back about strengths, IT people don't like to brag about themselves. Accounting people don't like to brag about themselves, right? Thinking about where someone has had made, saved, and achieved, and what were the skills that they did, or the skills that they had that gave them the ability to really have an impact. Because you do have to speak about what your strengths are.
Yeah.
So that you can speak to the value that you bring the organization and have an impact. Because let's be real, we got to get out of the job description.
Yep.
And what is someone going to do to drive the business, regardless if it's an accountant, a finance person, an IT person, a developer, a program manager, a project manager, a marketing manager, an HR manager, office manager, chief of staff, whatever it is.
You name it.